Okay, just want to recount my worst dating experience ever. So I met this girl on Hinge. We go on a date to a restaurant, and we get to know each other fairly, whatever, first date. So we agree to go on a second date, and we're going to go to an afternoon tea, which is something she was big into. In the meantime, we were messaging on Instagram, and I 3D print stuff. I design stuff. I print it and I paint it. And she requested I make her these little shelves to display her plushies on. So I design these things. I show her pictures of the design. She asked me to change them, show her, change them. So I'm getting her input. I'm making them exactly how she wants. So I make these things. I print them. And then I also make a Kirby giant planter, another thing I had, and then a planter of this character, Kiro, from an anime called Card Captor Sakura or whatever, right? So I make that, I make Kirby, I make 3 of these shelves. It took hours to design this stuff, to print it, and then to paint it. So it was a genuine gift. So then later, we meet up the next weekend to go for afternoon tea. And this whole time I knew she kind of had some money. She was into Lolita fashion and some other name brand stuff, which I know is expensive. And I know her parents came from China, so they have to have some money if they moved over here from China. And her dad's a professor in New York. She's going to school for chemistry. And so anyways, I pick her up, and we drive to, trying to make sure I don't forget anything. We drive to the restaurant. It's the Drake Hotel in Chicago. We go for afternoon tea, and it's like $80 per person. A little pricey, but whatever. I don't mind. And then she asked me to take some photos of her in her Lolita dress. So I do, but I'm a pretty good photographer. I know how to take good photos of people, but she wanted them a very particular way. So she would take a picture of me first and ask me to recreate it. So I recreated them exactly how she wanted. This will be important later, right? And I told her, I was like, make sure you have pictures you like before we leave. We still have time to take more. But she's like, no, this is fine. So anyways, we have dinner, we leave, and then we go to, she wants to go shopping or whatever, right? Also, mind you, she never says thank you for the meal. She never offers to pay anything for parking, but whatever, it's fine. And we go, she wants to go to this shopping mall. So we go there. She doesn't offer to pay for parking or anything. She buys some really expensive makeup. And then, then I start to take her back home. And, while we're taking her back home, I'm asking her how much her apartment is per month. She says it's $3,000. So I ask her how she's making that much money, as a student. And she says that she bought property when she was a kid. What she means is her parents bought her property when she was a kid. She has 2 things in New York. One is in New York City. So she's getting this rent money every month from property that her parents bought her. So she doesn't have to work. Also, her parents bought her a house in Florida as a gift, so her parents are very wealthy. So at that point I was like, damn, you could offer to pay for parking or something, but whatever, I don't say that. Then later, also that night I give her all the 3D printed stuff, right? Later, she texts me and she's critiquing all the photos, and she's like, oh, well, you should have done this better, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I did exactly what you told me to do. Next time, just let me cook, okay? I'm a good photographer. I was literally recreating the exact photos you wanted. That's not how I would take photos. Let me cook next time. So I was kind of annoyed there. I was like, just say thank you, You don't need to. I'm not your slave. I'm not your servant. I drive you around to the place. We got dinner, and I took photos of you, but I'm not your slave, right? So anyways, then this next weekend, which was tonight, we go out again for afternoon tea at the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago. This one was $150 per person, right? And I'm like, whatever. But at this point, I was thinking man, you could offer to tip, or you could offer to pay for parking. You don't have to work. Your parents are loaded. You're loaded. You buy all this Lolita fashion and brand name stuff, and then you just get rid of it. You have no concept of money. But whatever. She just didn't seem appreciative. So I pick her up. She needs to go to the, what's it called? Post office. She doesn't ask. She's like, hey, can you pick me up early? I need to go to the post office. Not, hey, could you take me to the post office? So anyways, but I'm like, it's only 4 minutes from her house. I'll take her there. So I take her to the post office. And It's on a busy street, so I park in the parking lot. She goes inside, delivers her package or whatever. Then she calls me. She's like, "Hey, I'm out front. Can you pull around to the front to pick me up?" And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, is this a test or something? It was on a busy street. I would have had to pull out, do a U-turn on this busy intersection, put my car, put the hazards on, block a lane of traffic just to pick her up. Meanwhile, it's a 70-foot walk from the front door to my car in the parking lot. So I replied to her, I'm like, no, it'd just be too much of a hassle, so just walk to the car. So at that point, I'm like, she's trying to test me, like see what she could get away with. So we go for dinner at the afternoon tea place, and things are going fine. We get the check. I already paid online when I had to reserve, so it was $330, and I was hoping they wouldn't ask for a tip, because they asked for a tip online in advance, and I said no, I'm not going to tip in advance. What if the service sucks? But anyways, they asked for a tip, so I give them $30. I know that's like 10% of $330. That's 1/11th, but like it was $30 worth of service. It was not $300 worth of food. And look, tipping culture is ridiculous, okay? If she really cared, she would have tipped them herself. But anyways, so we get back home. I take her home. I go home, and she texts me. She's like, "Hey, do you want to take the 3D printed stuff back?" And I'm insulted. I'm like, really? I made those specifically for you. You asked for them. I made them exactly to your liking. They are for you. That's kind of cruel. You need to understand. She's like, "Oh, well, I think they're kind of ugly." Motherfucker, you made the sandwich. Dudes be like, Subway sucks. Bro, you made the sandwich. You designed the fucking thing. Whatever. So I'm pissed off. And I'm like, fine. I'll get them because I don't want you to throw them away. But you need to know that this is disrespectful and cruel. And then she's finally her facade breaks. And she's like, I don't know why you're reacting like this. I don't have any sentimental value. Well, okay, look, these gifts, even if they're not perfect, it's something I made for you. You should appreciate a gift that somebody gives to you for free, that they made, that they put their heart into. But no, she's clearly maybe a sociopath or something. So she texts me, she's like, "I have no sentimental value for you. We're basically strangers. I see no future with you. My parents, we have such a different upbringing. My parents would probably never approve of it. And also, you can't tip, you don't tip service workers." Well, this is what she said, "I thought all middle-class people tip servers 20% because they know what it's like." So that's just her talking about ignorance. Yeah, she does not know what it's like being a middle-class person. She's talking from her ivory tower, right? Yeah, we do have different upbringings. I earned all my money I have. My parents helped me a lot. They did. But all the money in my bank account right now is mine. But I'm thankful for my parents, but I don't have property that my parents bought me where I don't have to work and I'm raking in rent money every month from New York City. So yeah, we do have different upbringings. I appreciate gifts, and I like giving to people. And then the facade breaks, and I'm like, man, all right, you clearly have no perception of the value of money, and it's just whatever. And she's like, "Okay, fine, come get the stuff on Sunday. Don't text me." And I'm like, "Gladly." That's all I respond, "Gladly." So she has to get the last word in. She says, "Also, I think you're like embarrassing or annoying or something, and you need to change for your next Tinder date or Hinge dates or whatever." And I reply, I'm like, "I'm praying for you. There's clearly something wrong in your heart. Jesus is the answer. Goodbye." And I haven't heard from her since, but I'm gonna put the text messages on here. I just needed to share. Fucking crazy, dude. Like, red flags. She's never gonna find a dude that's gonna want her, aside from her looks. Her personality, clearly red flags. I was just ignoring them, hoping maybe she was blissfully ignorant of the struggles of people who have to work for their money, but instead she was like a malicious, like, supervillain, basically. The only guy who will take her someday is a simp, basically, has a lot of money. That relationship's never going to be healthy. Probably will be some infidelity. So I wish her luck. Seriously. But yeah, crazy. Dodged a bullet. God is good. I should have known. I should have backed out when I was like, she should be more appreciative, and she has all this money she's not offering to pay. I had all those signs to back out, but I was like, maybe she's okay, because she seemed nice. She had a good facade, but it slipped. Fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, good luck.